Hey, this is Will. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you a few different techniques that you can use to stay motivated when you really don't have that motivation. I think there are a couple of things that I do that are pretty unique. So hopefully all of these should be very helpful. I will leave all of the useful links, anything that might help you out in the description. And I do have some very useful freebies, so make sure to check out the links in the description. Also check out my Instagram account for some very quick and actionable productivity tips. And every single week I give out one of my courses completely for free. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, take the title, put it on YouTube, find the video, make sure to smash the thumbs up button and leave a comment to enter the competition. Now let's get into it. So the first thing that I think it's very unique for me. I never really hear anyone quite talk about this, and it might seem a little bit strange for some people, but it honestly works so well for me. If I don't have any motivation, this honestly fills it up full and a little bit more. Sometimes if I do this in the evening that I just can't go to sleep because I'm just too motivated and my mind is just jumping all over the place. So what I do if I'm lacking motivation, I basically find content. So whether it's podcasts, articles, or videos, I found something of someone who is doing similar things to me, and I basically just consume that content, consume their story, and that pushes me into working harder towards that specific goal, whatever it is. And it doesn't always have to be a person, let's say, that does something. It can also be, let's say, a place I want to go to. And when I look at that place, I see that, wow, this is what I'm working for. This is where I am going to be in a few months if I just do the things I need to do. Or I look, let's say I love interior design, I love nice looking homes, so I look at, let's say, a house store. This is very silly example, but let's say I look at a house store and I think, okay, wow, this is what I want my home to look like, and that gives me more motivation. So I actually have a few playlists. For example, if you go to my YouTube account, you would see that I do have literally playlists called motivation, and I do have different categories for this as well, because I do think that different days require different things. So I do have categories where, let's say, I listen to, again, stories. I feel like that works really well for me. If, let's say, this week, for example, I've been working on my social media quite a bit. So I listened to someone that perhaps was very successful. Let's say they grew their Instagram account and it absolutely exploded. And now they're doing this, and that, and that. When I hear all of that stuff, I'm just thinking, okay, I want this to be me. And that just fuels me up so much. And as I said, you can also think about different things. Like, you can think about actual things that you want to maybe own one day, some things that you perhaps want to do, places you want to go, whatever it really is. So kind of related to this point as well, when you are doing this, or additionally, aside from that, so a lot of people use visualization, basically their dream boards, whatever you want to call them. But basically, when you look at these different things, what you want to accomplish, where you want to be, and all of that, you need to actually visualize yourself, what it's going to be like once you have done that, once you achieved all of those different things, and then turn that into motivation. So literally visualize it yourself of what it's going to feel like when you're there, and what are going to be all of the opportunities that open up for you and so on, if you manage to overcome those hurdles and you actually push through and you achieve the things that you want to do. So I think it's almost sort of like a, I don't know, reverse visualizing, reverse engineering of where you are going to end up, and taking that and then using that as motivation. What sort of helps out with this, and this is additional step that you can take for motivation, is you actually need to set some sort of goals for yourself. And those goals, it really doesn't matter. It can be very small goals, and it can be that, hey, for example, let's say you're growing your Instagram account. A goal for that can be, okay, I want to gain 1,000 followers. This is my goal. The one problem with this, that is a great goal and everything. The one problem is that it doesn't necessarily depend on you. There's a lot of variables that you can't quite control. So do you have some goals as well that you can actually achieve? So you can be, okay, I want to create 100 pieces of content, and that is my goal. So this is actually something that you can measure and you can do yourself, and it just feels great to just basically have that goal and just to complete that goal. That just gives a bit of motivation. And then once you don't really feel motivated, then you can come back to those goals and see, these are the goals that I have set up for myself, and these are all of the things that I've already done, and hopefully that should boost your motivation to keep on going. So this is a little bit different, but also works really well. It kind of almost tricks your brain into getting into a different state. So again, if you're lacking motivation, you feel down, music can actually help out quite a bit with this. And there are different ways how you can go about this. So in general, if you listen to some music, what I personally like to do is, if I'm lacking a bit of motivation, perhaps I feel, especially if I feel tired, I put on some music that literally just amps me up and I just feel more energetic in general. So do you find that type of music for yourself and create a playlist? I do have my own playlist that I use specifically for this. And another great thing as well is, this is a little hack that I know from a long time ago actually, is what you can do is you can associate certain songs with certain feelings. So perhaps, let's say for example, when you accomplish something, when you feel really good, listen to a specific song. And then when later on, when you're not motivated, then when you listen to that song, it's going to bring back those feelings. One very simple way you can do this is, for example, if you're traveling somewhere, you're in a place that you're having a great time and you absolutely love it, listen to specific music, and that basically just brings good emotions to you. And then once you are going through a rough time and you're lacking that motivation, listen to that song and it's going to just bring all of that positive energy. I know it might sound a little bit silly, but believe me, music really provokes a lot of different feelings, and try this out yourself and you will see it definitely works. Another step that you can take, and this is again something that works pretty well for me, and I don't think I see enough people talking about this. Well, actually, I haven't seen any people really talking about this, but I think people should, is giving yourself rewards for the little things that you do. So if you manage, I said already that you should set up all of the different goals, but instead of just, it does feel good when you accomplish something and you visually see that you accomplished that goal that you set for yourself. But it feels even better when you give yourself some kind of reward for that, and that is going to motivate you over time. So this is one of those things where you don't want to, sometimes you do need that motivation just for that single day, but also you want to keep on sort of creating habits of being motivated rather than just having that short-term motivation, because that is going to fade away. So by creating rewards, now you will start associating completing things with something that is also pleasurable. And the last thing, if none of this is working, if you still just don't feel motivated, it might sound very, very simple, but honestly, it works really well. For me, honestly, it's always, my mind is always connected to my body. So if I don't sleep enough, if I don't eat well, and if I don't exercise well, I am honestly just fighting an uphill battle, I am not going to be motivated, and especially I would say working out. So if you don't feel motivated, sometimes you wake up and you're just like, I can't really deal with stuff, just go to the gym or go for a run, whatever it is, go and exercise. And believe me that whenever I come back personally from the gym, I am, even though I just had a killer workout and I should be tired, I'm actually more motivated to do other things. And especially what at least personally works for me really well is if I work out, because you can lift weights. For example, I go to the gym, I lift weights, but if I do some intense cardio or intense weight workout where I really push myself, I basically increase my heart rate and push myself to a level where, the level where it becomes a little bit hard to breathe and my head sort of just opens up. I don't know even how to honestly explain this. I'm struggling out here. But whenever I do that, if I go, for example, on a run, and the runner's high. Yeah, that's probably the best way to explain it. When you have that runner's high, when you sort of feel a little bit like you are flying, your mind just opens up a little bit, and kind of, for me, sometimes it even feels like, oh wow, I was in some kind of rut and now I started thinking clearly again. I can actually think clearly and I can observe everything better, and in general I just feel so much better. So for me, that's one of the things that definitely helps me a lot, and usually that's why I go to the gym in the morning, because that basically helps me to have that good start to the day. Okay, so I hope this was useful. These were just some of the main things that I would say I do, and something that I wanted to talk about, that I think a couple of these things, they were, I think, pretty unique for me. If you want me to tell you more of the things that I personally do, then do let me know. I will create a second part of this episode. And if you have some of the things that you do to get more motivated, or in general how you can, maybe some of the things that I mentioned, how you can use them even in a better way, let's have a little bit of a discussion. Do leave a comment down below. As I said, I do have some very useful freebies, so make sure to check out all of the links in the description. Check out my Instagram account for quick and actionable productivity tips. If you found this useful, make sure to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications. Stay awesome, and I'll see you soon.